Lively could have chemistry with a rock. It could have been just a tree, and there would have been chemistry. And it'd be like, oh my God, the tree did so good with Blake.
That's a compliment, Blake. That is
she's that talented. So I take no credit. Directing myself, a lot of that had to do with, you know, the brilliance of Blake Lively. I don't think people realize how involved she was in this movie. She was extremely involved, and she really made the film better. And I was like, hey, and I just
dragons don't work here.
And so people just know this behind the scenes. You should just know that she is a bit of a brat, okay?
My nose is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late.
My money is on Blake Lively being wrong.
What is happening?
Give her a big hug, and I think I scared her.
Teaching Justin how to pull you in.
Where have you seen this? That shouldn't be happening, by the way.
Just put me in any clothes and give me any words and have me step in and transform. And I used to be very insecure about that. I used to feel like an imposter because I would watch actors who were just shapeshifters. They could do it in any circumstance.
Choice over which attorney deposes you or not. Blake Lively's learning the hard way that Cord is not Hollywood. I'm sorry, come again. You don't get to, this isn't a Colleen Hoover movie. You don't get to pick and choose who you have to work with and who you don't. Sorry, Blake, but you're
daytime television. Usually it's recipes, makeovers, maybe a little celebrity gossip. But recently, something exploded on air that nobody saw coming. Something far beyond the usual friendly banter. On The View of all places, a debate about immigration turned into a fiery personal clash between two women on opposite sides of the political spectrum. Conservative firebrand Tomi Lahren and the show's own Sunny Hostin. This wasn't just about policy, it was about family, ancestry, and the very definition of American identity. Get ready, because this showdown went places daytime TV rarely dares to go.
As if I was Ryle and the things that Ryle experienced in his life. And I had to create, as an example, the trauma that happened to him. I had to recreate that for myself.
To understand why this confrontation detonated, you've got to know where these two women stand. Tomi Lahren, she's known for taking no prisoners when it comes to immigration. For her, it's simple, merit-based legal channels, period. She champions a system where people come to the US the right way, as she sees it, and she doesn't mince words about it. On the other side, Sunny Hostin brings a completely different energy to the table. She advocates for a more humane approach, constantly challenging those conservative viewpoints. Hostin often talks about compassion, understanding, and the human stories behind immigration. So you had these two powerhouses with totally opposite beliefs locked and loaded on one of the most divisive topics in America. A clash wasn't just possible, it felt inevitable.
But primarily people don't like to work with Blake Lively. I can also tell you personally, back when I was an intern at Glamour magazine, working under an editor, she said the most difficult person that she has ever worked with and the rudest person that she had ever worked with was Blake Lively.
Then came the moment that changed everything. Hostin mid-immigration debate suddenly went personal. She declared she'd researched Tomi Lahren's family history. Yes, ancestry digging. Hostin revealed she used ancestry.com and claimed to find something shocking. The reveal? Lahren's 1800s Norwegian and German ancestors spoke their native languages for years in the US. Hostin dropped this bombshell, aiming to expose what she called hypocrisy.
She's now made multiple attempts to gag Justin Baldoni and his attorney, now wants the case dismissed, and now is fighting back again.
The air in the studio crackled. Hostin's attack landed hard. Was it a relevant point about assimilation or just a cheap shot? Hostin framed it as exposing hypocrisy. See, she implied, your family wasn't so quick to assimilate either. But Lahren didn't flinch. Instead of being thrown off balance, she went on the offensive. The debate instantly transformed from policy talk to a raw, personal confrontation. You could feel the tension radiating off the screen.
Basically, we do see gag orders in cases, typically in criminal cases, because stakes are so much higher, and that's to protect the criminal defendant, because under the Sixth Amendment in the United States, the defendant has a right to a fair trial, and the prosecution's release of information about the allegations in the criminal complaint can, taint a jury pool. I don't see that here, particularly since she is the one who has gone out there so publicly herself.
This is where Lahren's strategy shifted into high gear. Instead of getting defensive about her family, she weaponized the attack. She fired back, emphasizing the crucial detail Hostin conveniently ignored. Her ancestors came legally. They followed the rules, Lahren declared, and they didn't rely on government handouts. Boom! She flipped the script, using Hostin's gotcha moment to double down on her core message about legal immigration and self-reliance. It was a masterful deflection, turning a personal jab into a political uppercut.
I love romance, and I love it as an audience member, and I love it in my real life, and I just really believe in romance.
She reportedly is claiming that she doesn't want Brian Friedman to depose her because of unspecified statements that he's made about her. You mean like when he said that they had plans to sue her into oblivion?
Suddenly, the immigration policy debate felt miles away. This was now about something much bigger and much messier. Hostin had crossed a line, turning a political disagreement into a deeply personal attack on Lahren's family and, by extension, her integrity. Digging up someone's family history for a political point? Critics called it audacious, low, even desperate. But here's the twist. Lahren didn't crumble. She responded with a mix of humor and defiance, even mocking Hostin's detective work. In a way, Hostin's attack backfired, making the issue less about immigration and more about the lengths people will go to in political battles.
Going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh boy. For what?
Full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie. Agent will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also, and some
Ryan
of them will come
Reynolds?
as a surprise. Ryan Reynolds.
But I have no idea on what grounds these two and their mediocre lawyers are going to attempt to dismiss his lawsuit.
All right, to begin, let's start with the end. The conclusion here, I have said this since before, long before this ever broke out between her and Justin Baldoni, that we have to compartmentalize. Blake Lee is not a good person. So no matter what happens in this lawsuit, no matter who wins in the end, do not let it distract you from the fact.
Predictably, social media exploded. #The View and #Tomi Lahren became battlegrounds. Team Hostin praised her investigative skills, cheering what they saw as exposing hypocrisy. Team Lahren slammed Hostin for a cheap, irrelevant personal attack. The View, known for lively debates, suddenly looked more like a cage fight. The core issue, immigration policy, got somewhat lost in the uproar. But the underlying question remained. Was Hostin's ancestry deep dive a legitimate tactic, or did it just prove how toxic political discourse has become?
So in a newly released letter, we are now finding out that Blake Lively is not happy with Justin Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman. So much so that she's fighting back and doesn't want to be deposed by him.
Like that time he threatened to sue her into oblivion.
In the end, this daytime TV clash became much bigger than a simple argument about immigration. It held up a mirror to America's fractured political landscape. Both Lahren and Hostin, in their own ways, care about the country and likely even share some fundamental values about immigrants' contributions. But the way the debate devolved, from policy to personal attacks, showed how easily common ground can vanish in today's hyper-polarized world. Whether you side with Lahren or Hostin, one thing is clear. This wasn't just about immigration anymore. It was a snapshot of a nation deeply divided, where even family history can become a weapon in the political arena. And it leaves you wondering, in our debates, have we crossed a line we can't uncross?